You got my message, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Judy, if you record members absent and present. And Robert, you would please lead us.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for the rain with which you've blessed our fields, and we thank you for the great achievements with which you've blessed the students of this school. We pray now that you would guide us to find that middle ground between reasoned decisions and tender, compassionate hearts, that middle ground where we can all achieve and grow together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Number 3, public comment.
At this time, Roger Goodwin's going to come up and talk to us about grass and possibly the perks of using grass, the different grass that they provide for the turf of the football field, baseball field, and softball field.
Thank you. Judy, that was 7:05.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis, and thank you for letting me come and speak. I know I sat on this for a little while with Jeff for a time, and I know it's difficult and tough times ahead, but what I wanted to come and visit with you about was I'm excited about the new sporting fields and what's taking place here with the bond issue. And I just want to share some information with you on the sporting fields on going with an option on Bermuda grass, on something that's grown in Oklahoma. It's an Oklahoma developed product, and it's grown in Enid, Oklahoma. And I wanted to it's not going to be death by PowerPoint. I'm going to keep it short and sweet and just show you some high points and some of the pricing structure we have to go with Riviera Bermuda grass on the sporting fields. Riviera Bermuda grass was developed by Dr. Talifero at Oklahoma State University back in 2001. It's one of the tops in the NTEP trials, the National Turf Evaluation Program. Riviera was developed by Dr. Talifero for golf courses, all kinds of sporting fields, polo fields, because it's a very aggressive, fast-growing, self-repairing Bermuda grass. It can take a lot of abuse and bounce back, and that's its key selling point on Riviera. It's like back up one. It's licensed exclusively. We bought the rights to it. I mean, there was quite a process to get the rights to Riviera Bermuda grass because there's a lot of stuff you have to go through. We have the rights. There said the Riviera is all produced in the state of Oklahoma, and one of its key selling points on Riviera is it's cold tolerant. We have 2 grasses that are licensed through us that has a cold tolerant package. Most of your Bermuda grasses, seeded Bermuda grasses, are grown in Arizona and California. And if you send that one out there, it will grow that cold tolerance out of it. We ran into that cold tolerant issue here a few years ago. What was it? 2-3 years ago. Had a bunch of Bermuda grass freeze out. Had golf courses that didn't have the cold tolerant in it, and it froze out. And that's one of our key selling points on it, is because it's got a cold tolerant packaging. It's PVP. It's protected variety. You can't go out, dig sprigs, sell seed, cut it for seed. You can't do that. That's illegal. You're seeing that with all the seed, crop seeds and everything coming up through. It's only sold as a class of certified seed, and we market it in the U.S. and internationally. And you can see it's been 13 years in the NTEP trials. In this packet of information I gave you, there's some NTEP stuff in there on the trials in Kentucky and different places where it's holding its own right up at the top. We've eaten some of the new ones. Okay. There's the top picture there. That's Riviera Bermuda grass. That's the seed before it is coated. And the bottom, and I've got some samples back there to give you. It's purple, and we send it to Idaho to get that coating on it. It's a coating. It's a fungicide, and it also has a polymer on it to help retain water around the seed for faster germination. That's why it's purple color. And now I'm just going to show you some pictures here. This is, I can't pronounce that, Patuca Ranch, Hawaii. There's a picture there. We've got it in Hawaii. Okay. There's another picture of it. I didn't get to go and take those. Here's a picture of a golf course in Arizona. We have it out there. That's in Spain. And the guy that was originally going to come and do this, John Lamley, is in charge of all of our production. While he was at Oklahoma State, he worked with Dr. Talaferro on Riviera, and he had a big hand in all of this. And he's the one that took those pictures in Spain. And his wife had a procedure, and he couldn't make it. So we hurried up and got put. There's another picture in Barcelona, Spain, in the golf course. But there's the links in Stillwater, Oklahoma. They've got it there, and they even have some on Carson Creek. There's another one in Phoenix, Arizona. There it is again. That's in California there. And here, this is one of our things here that not a lot of people knew about. It was on the Olympic fields in Beijing, China. That seed was grown right around Enid, Oklahoma, and it was shipped, and that was on all the sporting fields in Beijing, China for the Olympics. That was one of our things. Here's another picture. I took this when I first started to work for Johnson's. That'll be 8 years tonight. So that's been about 7 years ago I took that picture. University of Arkansas put that field down, and they seeded, but they did a little different than anybody else. They seeded it in early May. They covered that whole football field with the tarp to get fast germination. They played an Arkansas high school football game on that 7 weeks later. And that was at the University of Arkansas right there. It looks like turf, but that is Riviera Bermuda. And then after Houston Nutt got fired and they hired Bobby Petrino, they came in and took that field up and put down artificial turf after doing all that work. This is the baseball field at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. They're very high on it, and they still have it there. It's on the track field there at the University of Arkansas. This is Citizens Bank Park. Philadelphia Phillies have it on their baseball field. John one got to go and take these pictures and go to a baseball game there in Philadelphia. There's the Philadelphia Eagles. They have it on the field also in Philadelphia. And there is a softball field. There's a big, this is in Indiana. This is a softball field. You can see that it was seeded. But John Lamley went up there last summer, and Indianapolis has a huge sporting complex. I think it's like 30 fields that it's all going to Riviera, but he doesn't have any pictures on that yet. But that's something. There's a lot of it going in up in Indiana. There's University of Maryland soccer field. Now that wasn't seeded. This was sodded. We have a sod grower up there. This was all sodded. And this is a polo field that was seeded in Houston, Texas. And that was kind of didn't want to rush through it, but I don't want to take up a lot of your time. But those are some of the things and places we have it. I mean, it's not just, we've got it all over the world, and it's a proven product. So any of you have any questions on that?
Talk a little bit like we did in the office about hardiness, durability.
Winter hardiness, that was the cold tolerant I was talking about in the winter months. Bermuda grass if it gets very cold, it's apt to freeze out. Will not do that. It takes a lot of traffic. That's the big thing. I mean, for football fields, cleat marks, horses' hoofs, you can see that it's just a very, very aggressive, fast-growing, self-repairing Bermuda grass. It takes a lot of abuse, but anything takes water.
How many pounds to the acre do you guys?
On that, I broke this down. I broke this down for you. I broke it down on each field. And you can see that I broke down how I came up with these acres. You can go to Google Maps. You can get on there, and it's this right here was the existing football field inside the track. It was 2.4 acres, and you can see that it's 104,544 square feet. So you're looking at 2 pounds on the seeded variety. You go 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So that you can see that 210 pounds of seed for the football field at $11 a pound, and that will include planting. We will plant it for you for that $11 a pound. So the football field, you're looking at $2,310 as it sits right now. We did the same thing with the baseball field. It came up 2.62 acres on the existing baseball field that's out there right now. That's 127,000 square feet. And it's going to take 230 pounds of seed, $11 $2,530. The softball fields, you don't have one, so the last one we did was for Enid High School at Meadow Lake Park. We just ran the acres on it. It's 7/10 of an acre, 31,000 square feet, talking 62 pounds, $682. For a total cost, of 5.72 acres, it's going to take 502 pounds of Riviera Bermuda at $5,522. Is what your seeding cost would be. That's planning and everything. And on that figure, I figured exact acres. You might want to go figure 6, just to cover everything, have extra to fill in spots that get missed, because that happens.
Would you recommend a soil test before?
Oh, definitely. And another thing too, I don't know what the plan is on as far as, are you going to have irrigation? Is there going to be irrigation in? All of that
we'll
going
have
to be
to.
to grade. Everything will be level to start, because that's going to be very, very important. Is getting it good and level. It'll look a lot better when it's level. Irrigation.
Yep.
And these are the numbers that kind of skip. When you figure it, though, you're looking, $965 an acre. That's what it's going to cost. About $21 per 1,000 square feet, or 0.22 cents per square foot on using seeded Bermuda. And now what comes with that, I know is you're looking at upkeep, chemicals, fertilization, mowing, and all of that. But in that packet, I made a copy of an article from the University of Arkansas that came out of there. I think that was 2 years ago, on comparing the maintenance of artificial turf versus natural grass. And it's pretty interesting, and a lot of the things you don't think about associated with artificial turf, the cost involved. It's there for your reading. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call. That's all I have. I want to keep it short and sweet, because I didn't want to keep you here all night. Thank you for the opportunity to come. If you have any questions, I would be glad. And something else too, if you're concerned about it, like John Lamley, Brady Schultz that I work with, both of them turf guys, we can work up if it comes to that, work up a fertilization, a chemical program, and help you with all of that. So we're not just going to do it and disappear on you. We will help you through the process to get it established. And I don't know when you're shooting, but we need to shoot for when the project's done. We need to shoot for like mid-May application. Soil temperature needs to be 65 and rising for Bermuda grass to germinate.
How many days, you told me?
Depending on soil temperature, the warmer the soil temperature, the faster it'll germinate. So, if 70 degrees is better, and we're probably looking at mid-May on, just depending on the year. You just watch the mesonet and see what the soil temperature needs to be 70 and rising, and you're looking about 2 weeks probably to germinate. And we'll use a slit seeder. What it is, it's a slit seeder behind a little tractor that leaves a groove. So,
Thanks for coming in,
so if
Roger.
anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So if you have it, my card's affixed to that.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Roger.
your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Oh, here's there's the seed. That's what we're looking at.
Okay, number 4. Mr. Allen, do you have any other public comment that we want to address, or just?
Just ask.
Okay.
Anybody else got anything?
Number 4, discussion and vote to approve the minutes of the October 6, 2014 regular school board meeting and the October 9th, 2014 special school board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the school board minutes for the October 6th regular school board meeting.
Tony's made the motion to approve October 6th. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Tony made the motion. Corey seconded. Judy, if you'll call vote, please.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
And I'll make a motion to approve October 9th school board meeting minutes.
Corey's made the motion to approve October 9th. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Corey made the motion. Tony seconded. Judy, if you'll call the vote, please.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes. Number 5, discussion and vote to approve treasurer's report.
Start with the fund comparison line month. General fund is 2.2 million, which is up 1.5 million from this time last year. Our building fund is down 47,000, and the sinking, which that's not showing right because we. Let me see. Yeah, it's just I didn't get the negative in there. It is going to be negative 54,000, and the sinking fund is down 3,000. But overall, our total funds are up 1.9 million. With total funds being $2,972,130.85. On our
So that building fund, that's
is going to be negative.
negative 54?
Our building fund balance is negative 54,000. Yes.
Okay.
The ad valorem and county formula in our general fund are both at 1,400. Gross production is up 737,000. So we've gone from our gross production this month was 323,000. Last year was 132,000. So we're almost where what this total last year is about what our whole check is for this month. From this time it was 1.1. Is our current total for this year. And the building and sinking fund is down $698 and $1,500 in sinking. On page 1 of the treasurer's revenue summary comparison, in miscellaneous reimbursements, there is a collection for $20,335, which is a check that came from activity fund out of band. The instruments were bought out of general fund, and the money was being collected into our activity fund. So we cut a check for the amount of the instruments and put it back into general fund. Lunch. The federal claims were made for August and September. Our lunches were $13,000 and our breakfasts were $3,695. And our total lunch payments collected for this month is $4,181.
No.
I saw you flipping. I didn't know if you were I was talking. Yes, I have yours.
The 1489 was a what now? It was a reimbursement for what?
Hold on just a second.
It's right here, the 20,000. That came from, it went into the activity fund.
Mhm.
They moved it from activity fund into the general, and that's where that
okay.
money's
I
coming
see.
back in.
The 21,000.
Yeah.
That
Well,
14 is, if you look up here,
Uh-huh.
this is
Last year.
2013 to 14 collected year to date.
Okay.
So this is where we're at now, and that's that.
All right.
And you'll see it on my activity fund coming out of the band for the instruments.
Okay.
Do we have any further discussion on treasurer's report? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Jeff made a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Jeff made the motion, Missy seconded. Judy, if you'll take vote, please.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kimanoff. Yes. Wyatt.
Yes.
Heller.
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes. Number 6, discussion and vote to approve activity fund report.
Okay. On the front page, like I said, the 21,000 came out from band. They still have 15,000 in donations come in. So the balance is really only 5,000 down, even after they bought all the instruments. So they're rocking and rolling. The FCCLA, they have their receipts that they're selling popcorn and candy for their fundraiser. And then there's a big check cut out of high school cheerleaders, which was all their outfits and uniforms and everything that they had ordered back in August. I finally got all the pieces to that where I could pay it. The book fair, I received $2,916.15 from that to the library, which next month I have their bills, so next month pretty much that amount goes out, but we do get books for the library on that. The sophomore class, it seemed like all their t-shirt bills from all the ones they've been selling just come in all at once, so they kind of looked like they were hit hard with a bunch of invoices. It was for $4,079.
Those with the woodworking?
Hmm?
Woodworking?
Okay, what is it?
For 615?
That's the balance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Middle school cheerleaders, they did their car wash, and they are selling cookie dough still, but they did their car wash, and then they went to a cheer camp over in Stillwater. That's what their checks are out for. And FFA sausage sales, I think they end, so they should be turning in a bunch of money for their blue and gold.
Any other questions or discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve activity fund.
Jeff has made a motion to approve activity fund report. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Jeff made the motion. Tony seconded. Judy, if you'll call for it.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes. Number 7, discussion and vote to add an activity account for the 6th grade class of 2021.
They just needed their account added. They were the upcoming 6th graders and they had won the homecoming float. They won something in that. So that made it to where I had to make an account for them to have
Okay.
it.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve activity fund for 6th grade, class of 2021.
Corey made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Corey made the motion. Jeff seconded. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Willhite,
Yes.
Heller.
Yes.
Number 8, discussion and vote to approve encumbrances, general fund, and numbers is seen as listed.
Okay, I wrote notes on them again, so you'd kind of know what they were. Might look down through there. The first big one we come across is for a place called Booster Digital Displays. It's for a table. You want to explain the table to them?
It's basically it's a scorer's table, but it does much more than a scorer's table. It allows the coach to video the practice and use it as a teaching tool during practice. You know, the screens are the game, whatever's video, the practice, whatever's video. But during a ball game, it stays down there and it scrolls, you know, advertisements as far as first, you know, Alfalfa County Bank or Farmers Bank or First Baptist Church or whatever. And it also can do the, like, senior profiles or whatnot as they go along. And it goes along with the huddle program that all our coaches use anyway as far as the scout and I almost said recruit, but because huddle's also used for major colleges on sharing film with other schools and whatnot. So it's a pretty elaborate system, and it's a teaching tool is what we're looking at it as, not just something that's out there to look at.
Is that installed now, or?
It's out there. It's, you know, we're just waiting on, I think he's already got 3 major sponsors lined up, and then several smaller sponsors lined up, and there are several ways that you get a sponsorship, and part of the sponsorship is paying back to athletic fund portion of what was pulled out to purchase that.
What are we charging for?
It's like $1,000.
It was $1,000 for the 3 big ads. And then we're doing $500 for everybody else. And if you had a banner up, if that included your banner. You just want to keep your banner. I think the biggest one is the $250.
And
But he's had people at first, he didn't know if that was gonna be too much, but he's had people now, after he came back today, that wish that they could have had the $1,000 bill. And so he's trying to figure out a way to rotate them through games to where they can all be on.
And we're also doing
For
a
the-
special sponsorship that just runs through tournaments, and then ones that run through the
And we've
city.
also given the $1,000 people, did they get 7?
They got 6.
6 free passes to the games, that, like, if Farmers Bank
Right.
did it, they could give 7 of their passes to whoever kind of all came along with it.
But it's gone over well out there, and anxious to see what it does. And like I said, it's, the purpose of it really is a teaching tool to happen during practice, but it does have some other benefits to it too.
CCS presentation systems, 11,500. That was for 7 smart boards.
And we're on a technology type thing. We're trying to rotate in technology, and there'll be, I think we got 4 more or 5 more left, and we'll at the high school. And then when we do the bond issue, we'll finish out the whole elementary.
And 15 laptops were purchased for 14,000 from
Where-
Ken Oakland,
Where are they at?
They're
Medicine Lodge. You mean where's?
No, I mean, where are the laptops?
laptops we're giving, well, we're gonna give every teacher one before it's all said and done, but we've prioritized where they go out the most, and it's typically the people that do the most paperwork right now. And that's administration, special ed, and then your high, like I said, labor-intensive paperwork positions, and I can't remember the rest of them, but the rest of the teachers will get them by the end of the year. And again, laptops will be considered at the elementary through the bond issue. So by the time it's said and done, every teacher will have that.
Just ask if you have a question.
Where'd we get the smart boards installed at? Where are they located?
As far as the specific classroom.
Yeah. Just
There's one in Miss McBride's room, 2 down here, Miss Lancaster's room, and Miss Mitchell's room. I think the other one's in Woodard's classroom, and then I know Leslie just got his put up this week.
they happy with them?
Yeah. And matter of fact, and honestly, when you can't go out and just purchase one for everybody right off the bat, you kind of prioritize who you think's going to use it. And I've gotten people that you'd be surprised that go, "Where's mine?"
Yeah.
And that's more because of the kid. It's kids driven now. So, but like I said, by the end of the year, the high school should be outfitted. And like I said, with the bond issue, the whole purpose was to make sure the elementary is outfitted. And we already started at the elementary first. Actually, when we started bringing the whiteboards in, we did 4 or 5 down there. So we'll just make sure every classroom's got one by the time it's said and done.
Yeah.
Just future thoughts is, we've had some like pulling the teeth, but we're probably going to go with more mobile labs now, since we have wireless everywhere, than the old standard disc. Just because we're able to get more kids on it at once than using one room or dictating one room to be a computer lab. And how we progress as far as the school goes, more and more assessments are driven by computer taken type of assessments instead of the old paper pen assessments.
Any further discussion on encumbrances? Any questions?
Make a motion to approve encumbrances.
Corey's made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second. Sorry, Jeff.
You're fine.
Corey made the motion. Tony seconded. Judy, call the vote, please.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes. Number 9, administrative reports.
Jeremy, do you want to say something?
I feel like the rest was always big time farmers and ranchers in here, but I'll go ahead and speak. The girls won third place at the state cross country meet, which is quite an honor, and we did co-op with Burlington and Fall Creek, so those communities as well took part in that. That was a great accomplishment. Also, as you see in front of you, Mr. Paris didn't want you to miss it. The state champions, one-act play trophies. That was the second, if I'm correct, I hope I am in saying this, second time in school history. The last time that we won it would have been Delbo Leach was here, and only Mr. Hickman would have been here at that time. So, boom.
I might have been there as a student.
Okay. I think that was in the early 80s, but I couldn't get a hold of Delbo exactly. Anyway, that was the second time. That was a great accomplishment because they go against a lot of big schools. And another thing to think about that I think is impressive with a school our size is since December of last year, we have won a state championship in football, track, and now one-act play, which I think is quite an accomplishment to win 3 state championships that quickly. Going on, junior high tournaments next week, which is a busy time for a lot of people. Basketball gets going for us. Elementary, junior high football is over. Senior night is this Friday. Obviously, we plan on hosting 2 playoff games, we hope, but senior night will be Friday. Speech season will start and get underway this week. The academic team is competing. As always, FCCLA, FFA events are coming up, and I believe it's next week that is the trophy. Labor auction, I believe is next week. So, and then the girls have started basketball scrimmages for the high school girls have started basketball scrimmages, and the younger girls have been practicing.
Labor auctions for the FFA.
Labor auction FFA.
Mr. Hickman, you might want to discuss a little bit about what's kind of transpired over the last 3 months with school improvement, with the Alpha Plus, and the things that we've been doing with Renaissance Learning as well.
Okay. The program that we've hired with Alpha Plus to work with the middle school on improving our state report card. We have a lady that comes out, usually, is it always Wednesdays?
Yeah, every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday, and the teachers, at first, I think, were a little hesitant, but and it is a lot of work. It's very demanding on the teachers. It requires them to do a lot of things. She comes in and works with them, but they have finally bought in to what it is, and it's a very good program. It's shown a great success rate, and I think you'll see our middle school test scores really do well this year. And on top of that, we're also doing a Renaissance program which is accelerated math, accelerated reading, and we have a lady that's coming out to work with them some as well, and I think the students are seeing some success. The biggest thing that I can try to explain it in simple terms, which is the way I explain things, is when I was in school, you took a test, you did something, you got your paper back, and basically you saw a number. You had no idea what you did wrong, what you did right. But nowadays, they have this broke down, these companies have this broke down to objectives, and where they can tell you where your strong areas are, where your weak areas are. Basically, the students know what they need to work on, what they're good at, and the teachers know, so it helps them work on those things because, we all have a copy of what the test, what's on the test. Not exactly, but, they give us a percentage of, on the 6th grade math test, for example, 30% is over this, 20% is over this. So the teachers have an idea, and if they can realize the weaknesses and strengths, then they can work on these things to help benefit those tests. So it's a real good program. I think the teachers are in on it now, and they came in last week, and I visited with them, and I think they're on board. And I think you'll see a lot of success come May. Did I forget anything?
The best way I'd put it in terms of is think about taking your car in to get worked on, and the first thing they do is they put a diagnostic test on it, and it kicks out and say these things are wrong. That's what this allows us to do. It kicks back on each individual student and says what the strengths and weaknesses are, so the teacher can either reteach or redeliver those particular standards and objectives. That's Rick, when you got anything else? You good to go.
I think, I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I think the speech is going to play twice in November, 20th and 23rd. The community come out and watch, support. I think they'll enjoy the plays of mice and men.
That'll be something they advertise, I guess, in the paper and stuff.
On the one act, what probably didn't see was that they also received outstanding stage crew and tech, and I think that was one person, and that was Shelby Porter. So that's quite an accomplishment. And we had 2 students that received all state.
This is the second year in a row they won the tech award.
That's great. And all the names are on the trophy there if you want.
Moving on, my particular administrative report's not really a report, it's more of a discussion and an opportunity to kind of talk about some things and then move into some things. Just for your information, kind of like I told you last time, is the houses are empty. And basically I need permission to move forward on those. In the last 2 weeks I've talked extensively with Tri-Arch, and we have permission to start the demo process if we want to take that on ourselves. And so what I'm asking is, would you like for me to put out bids to either salvage or demolition, or just demolition, or try to sell and move, or we just don't want to mess with it and just do straight demolition? And what I would think is, whatever we decide right now, is I'd have something ready for us at the next board meeting to accept bids on.
I think we'd be crazy not to try to salvage something. I mean, it wouldn't take, it's not a lot of extra time tacked onto the process.
If you want, you can stop by and see those. Just let me know. But there's not much to them.
Do you have a demo guy? Do they have a demo guy that can?
Yeah, I'm going to just get some.
Try to salvage something.
Mm-hmm. And then what they suggest is as much gone as possible.
Right.
Even to the foundation. And if not, they can take care of it when that time comes. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll start putting together some information to get that out so you can accept.
On those properties, what have they said much about the trees and stuff? I mean,
they're going to try to keep as much of the trees as possible, so we don't have to deal with the roots.
Yeah. Okay. I just hated to see them come in and
like
tear them down if we got some that'll work.
Yeah, some of the, like the windrow, the arborvitae, the evergreen deal, they'll probably have to be knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those elms and stuff can be kept. And like I said, just stop by and take a look at those properties and get back with me.
Okay.
The elementary school and the auditorium is done. I mean, we have finalized from our conversation that we had the other day when he came here. They've been actually sent on to the construction manager to start bidding process. So they're going to finalize. The construction manager is going to finalize some paperwork and get that out. And everything from here on out is about a week or 2 weeks out on that. So probably we're looking at another special board meeting before too long for that kind of stuff.
So we should see current pricing on auditorium and stuff here pretty soon.
When you see the bids, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll, and what I'm gonna do here in a second is I'm gonna give you a copy of the budget sheet, just for a reminder. We can go over all that stuff. Remember, our portion of the auditorium is the audio and the lights. We have a budget, and like I said, you'll see that just in a second. But we're going to take full responsibility of that. I've talked to Jason about that and trying to get contacts to come in here. And I think what we really need to do is set up for those type of things to be done after Tri-Arch and everybody's done in there.
What was it, audio and what?
Lights.
Okay.
Like I said, the elementary part's done. Something that's a little bit different than what, and we discussed this a little bit after the fact, was that area up on the stage, what to do with it. And we're going to make a gathering room for when it's a rainy day or something like that, that'll have a screen that drops down and a projector so they can show group movies in a group setting type instructional area too. And then you'll have two ways in to the library beside the hole in the ground, which is the stairwell down to the cave. And then the classrooms will be open to that great room then. Next thing I want to talk about a little bit is we finalized the ag, and if you take one and pass it down, I'll kind of discuss it real quick. And every project was discussed with participants in those particular areas, and we got quite a bit of input on this, and we went out and visited a couple places, and this is what we came up with. Just for your thinking, if you look right up here for a second, this is 5th Street right here, and you would enter in, and the existing building is right here on your left. When you come in, the building would be facing north and south, and then it would look like this. This is what you'd see, okay? This side open lean-to would be open to this area right here, to this existing where pins are already at. Okay, so if you can imagine, you're going to have an L shape as far as pins go there. When you look at the building itself, up to the height of the gable here is about 12 feet high. Pin height, which is all these are pins inside, are 4 feet. And then each pin has an outside door, and it, we're looking at two different ways to do this right now. Whether it's a rolling gate door, overhead kind of door, or just like freezer doors with a door that you can slap shut. But you're looking at a sink, you're looking at bathrooms for both men and women, and you're looking at utility showers and hog showers to do, with a drainage ditch that goes right down the middle here to clean it out. Everything under the lean-to will be about 4 to 6 inches of sand that can be cleaned out from time to time.
The bottom or the top of the lean-to, what's the height of that? Does it show that?
Well,
Just so we know we can get a tractor in there to clean it
yeah,
out.
you're looking at about 10 to 11 feet, and probably what we'd have to look at is a small 50 horsepower tractor with a front end loader, or possibly a Bobcat.
You get down to those small ones, a lot of them have them roll bars that stick up another, something to think about.
At this time, Tim and Mr. Wilbur were instrumental in discussing all of this. Do y'all have any insight on the barn? Is this something you can live with? Is there something in the future that you can see along with this project?
Well, my thoughts to the board would just be, first thing, look at, what size of barn do you want to put up, or, what's necessary. I certainly don't think that barn is extravagant or ridiculous size, but it does allow the program some room for growth. It would be way more than ample with the students on what's going on now, but we've been somewhat limited. guess, one of the things that's really changing is that the ag kids don't live on farms so much anymore. And the program's really been held back by the fact that so many of these kids just don't have a place for a project. And, so that's something I sure think the board should keep in mind. And between David and I, we've been around the facilities at several schools around and everything. And I'll tell you, I think it's very appropriately sized. I would really ask you to carefully consider if the bid comes in a little more than you want, and you want to consider somewhere. You're only going to build this one time.
Right.
And I'd build it right. I'd build the right size the first time, and I think that's what you're looking at. And David's just built a barn or two on his place, and we looked for a lot of the ideas there, and I think it's very, very functional, very useful, and it gives your program a chance to grow. So.
Are we still locked in on a price with our guys?
Well, what
Or
all they're
can we
doing
can we
is giving us,
can we shop around?
well, all they're giving us an estimate. They're
Mhm.
saying it'll cost $220,000 to $200,000 to $250,000 to build. Now, here's the deal. Mr. Wilbur, David, built the same facility, almost bigger, within that.
I'm sure of a fraction of the cost.
Well,
I built 2 barns for what this
Right.
is.
That's what I'm.
and so, the deal about it is, and like I've told you from the get-go, is we know who the builder is. We can ask that builder to put in a bid.
Right.
So, if it comes in well under, then we're well under. It's just a number that they're going for.
But these
as far
guys
as
will
the-
work with our bidder if they.
Yeah. And the best thing I can say to do, and I'll talk to these 2 gentlemen today, is maybe we need to go out and solicit people that would be interested in putting bids,
Yeah.
that we know that, can build us a facility like we want it, instead of just getting some random schmo from eastern Kansas or southeast Oklahoma, because there's going to be some issues the further away they are.
Yeah.
So we can go out and say, hey, would you mind putting in a bid?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We can tell our architect and our construction manager who to go get bids from.
Well, I think that's a must that we get
So
ahold
do
of
they have to, the
your guys. And,
architect, do they have to approach them and say, to put a bid in, or can they, the bidder get a hold of Triumph and say, hey,
They can
Triumph?
get a hold of Triumph either way.
Okay.
It can happen either way. So we understand. If they are contacting the construction manager, it's not really Triumph, it'll be Crossland. If they get a hold of. But those, I hear that you're building a metal barn. We'd like bids in it, and they, Crossland will send them the necessary information.
Okay.
Like a clean out pit for washing the inside of the buildings, or
Well, actually, with this one, we have a drain that
Uh-huh.
goes all the way.
so you just wash it on out the building.
Yeah, then you wash it out. But I built it and I put a septic tank in, okay? But this one, I think.
We're not planning on a septic tank.
No,
They're
yeah.
going right to the sewer,
Yeah.
okay? And,
Insulation, cleanup, all those
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Thank you.
If you're gonna build it, you've got to make it user friendly. And you
Right.
Keep it easy to clean, easy to keep the.
I don't know. The pits are so much fun to clean out.
it won't be that.
Yeah.
And there's some other things that, David has radiant floor heating in his. We didn't put that in there.
Yeah.
Not to say that if the price didn't come back right, we couldn't come back and put it in there. What we're doing is we're putting a tankless hot water heater that's direct hot water, meaning that each one of these will have a hot water spout to it, and even these, so whenever the hot water's turned on, it's automatic straight there. His particular radiant floor also has its own hot water
Yeah.
heater itself too.
Well, I think it would be crazy not to check out the guys that build barns around here. And let
Well,
some guys go.
originally, and I like to joke around about this, when they first gave me the values, they were putting $600,000 down. And I said, look, I know it's not going to cost us that much to build a building. So, anyway, what we need to talk about real quick on this, and we've already talked a little bit about it, is it doesn't show on here, but we want to put lights under the lean-to portion. The ceiling fans don't show up, but we've talked about it. And we're talking about the industrial ones, the like 72, 84-inch blades or whatever they are. And then security lights. And if there's anything else that you think of before tomorrow morning, I'm meeting him between here and Kremlin about some things. I'm going to give him the go-ahead to give this to the construction manager so we can go ahead and start getting this. And then we expect in 2 weeks, too, to have this ready to go for bids. Okay?
I appreciate you guys getting involved in this barn. I mean, we needed to get some guys that use it, so thanks for that.
I don't think we're gonna use it, there's a whole bunch of.
Well, you know what I mean now.
I mean, they're outrunning.
Yeah.
See, they split the pins in half to get all the kids' projects.
How many pins are out there, David?
Huh?
How many pins are out there without
There
splitting
was
them?
10, wasn't there, Judy? Now there's 20, okay? If they, and it'll grow. I mean, Mr. Johns, he couldn't get enough pins, for all his projects.
And I want to say, ultimately, this started out as Mr. Johns and I sitting in the office daydreaming 4 years ago about, because he had 62 kids in ag at that time. And we were seeing more kids than we knew what to do with showing. So we knew we had to come up with a plan. So, we had a little bump in the road, but our numbers are starting to grow again, and it's looking really good for us. So anyway, it's looking good. At this time, it's taken me a while to get this document, and this is basically a contract with our construction manager. And all I need really is approval from you all saying that I can approve this because it's got my name on it after the attorney looks at it. And I'll take it down to Oklahoma City tomorrow to have them look at it. But it's just a basic contract. This tells fees, what they will do and what they won't do. And I know I've already got some questions on there, but if that's okay, I'll sign that and get that taken care of instead of waiting until the next board meeting to get an approval on that. So, anybody's thoughts on that?
I don't have a problem with that.
It's a standard 5.5% on that. It's basically what they're. And the last thing I want to discuss, which everybody's hit me up on, is they finally got the surveys in today to them. I did get a preliminary layout of all the things that we had concerns about as far as the facilities go. The layout is not to the survey yet. When they get it to the survey is when I'll present it to you. There's still some stuff that we need to address. But anyway, that should be in the next week, being able to present that to you all too. So basically what I'm getting at is sometime in the near future there's going to be a special meeting to discuss all the things that I talked about. I do want to review this real quick because I'm going to ask, after I'm done reviewing this, to jump to item number 15. Discussion possible lease purchase items through 2014. And again, that's only going to be a discussion and, permission to put information together to you, to bring to you the next time, okay? But what this is, these 5 pages, is the 5 projects. And the first one's track and field complex, and it outlines on the top. Just be worried about where where it says schedule of values, don't even look at the breakdown. Look at where they've looked at things. The track, you're looking at $450,000, and I want you to put a circle around these 3: new sod, irrigation, and rebuild crown, football field, and drainage. If you circle all those, that's $90,000 that you're looking at. New lights, $250,000. Repair existing bleachers and press box, concession stand, new entrance, fencing, and so on. So with that, before we move on, I'm going to give you a quote from last year that also kind of helped fuel this. But this is just a reminder. There might be two on some of them might have two. You should have 2 pages. But I've talked about 5 builders right now, and you can expect a 3% addition to any construction that would have started out. So, meaning that really looking at the schedule last year and what they came up with at this time last year, whatever they planned for, there's been an additional 3% as far as construction costs go in the course of the year. Okay, so what I gave you is what the light quote was before we did a bond issue, and what we're interested in is what's called the 30-foot candles. Okay, we're not a big enough stadium that needs the 50, nor do we need to shine our lights all over northwest Oklahoma. But anyway, if you look at that price, what are you looking at? Can somebody just read off what a 30-foot candle is? For
115 to 125,000.
Okay. On the back page, it should have a list of all 3. It should say like option 1, football, baseball.
Oh, option 1 is
If you bid all the lighting at one time, I think.
440,000.
Okay, 440,460 or something like that.
Yes, sir.
And then you add 3% to that. And that's what you're looking at the cost for just the lights. Now, that's not including electric and all the stuff that goes to it. Now, we're working, with AEC on how to deal with that. Okay. So anyway, going back to this, and I just wanted to give you a copy of that. Going back to this, we look at the baseball, softball field complex, and they got $303,000 for baseball field and $283,000 for softball field. And I'm taking out the bleachers. We're not going to buy bleachers. We're just going to put a pad out there and let the people bring the chairs. Okay, and we're going to put a top on it, but that that's not going to be. So what we're looking at really is fees for lights again and those. Okay. Moving on to 3.
Weren't we just looking at 4 light poles for the football field?
Yeah, 4 light poles, 4 for all of them.
Right.
Yeah. Compared to the 8 that we got now. Whatnot. Basically $775,000 for the elementary school. You got $175,000 what they call renovation exterior and interior to unify campus design. If you remember, that is part of what they were giving to you when they gave the color concept for the library. Now, something they didn't discuss then, and I don't know why, was the color concept in the gymnasium. Are we replacing the carpet? And I said yes. And what I said was we'd go with the color combination that they had for the library that was the opposite, the red, the black. Okay, felt like that was appropriate for a gym. Of course, remember it's going to have the light all on the window all along the one side up above, and then we'll figure out the paint to match that. So exterior, interior. The furniture is what I want you to notice on here and make a note on. That's where the technology is. Okay. Auditorium renovation. The HVAC. They're saying $95,000. That could be close. Update lighting. We have 140 there. Flooring 27, painting 20, audio visual 95. So if you want to look at what's in our budget for the audio visual and the lighting, you're looking at $235,000. Okay, if that comes under, then we can put it somewhere else in that, okay? And then the vocational agriculture building, originally, this was for a 40 by 60 building, and I said, you know, that we could build it for $180,000, and then the fees would be $200,000, okay? What this building is right here is a 60 by 80 building. And again, David sat there and said, you know, he built two for the price of this. So what I want you to do is this. As we move to item number 15, which we need to do, I want you to circle the, like I said, the new sod irrigation and crown. Wherever you see lights, circle that or make an asterisk by it. The bleachers, press box, put an asterisk by it.
On the baseball and softball field?
Everywhere you see that. And then on the vocational agriculture building, put an asterisk by it.
Put an asterisk by what?
The vote, just the whole number 5. You're looking at lights, you're looking at bleachers, you're looking at a building, press box, those types of things on there. That's what you're going to mark.
Okay.
And now you can move to.
Okay. We will jump from 9 to number 15, discussion of possible lease purchase options through the 2014 bond issue.
Okay. Now, everything I told you to mark are items that you can lease purchase. And I am asking you permission to look in the feasibility of lease purchase, and I'm getting ready to tell you why. This next sheet that I give you is going to show you how conventional payout is to a lease purchase and the bond issue. Now, these aren't exact numbers. These are numbers based on a similar bond issue, kind of south of here, that did a lease purchase, and how it could affect us here and what we could do potentially. Conventional bond payout, I looked at 5 items. And item A, item B, item C, let's just call those lights, okay? About $165,000. When those lights are installed, we're going to get a bill that we pay out $165,000. So that's $165,000 each time the lights are done that we're going to pay to get done. If we do a lease purchase payout, what we do is, whether it's through Musco or whether it's through the bank, we'd do competitive bids on that too, is when they're done, we'd pay $9,000 for a year, for 10 years, okay? Or whatever, you know, it is to the payout. The district out-of-pocket payment would be $11,000, because by law, we can make the payment out of the bond issue. So it means every year we'd be making a $9,000 payment towards this particular item out of the bond issue, but we cannot pay what's interest accrued for that year. We'd have to make a separate payment of $950 or so. So if we look at these items, item B, which is lights, $165,000. Again, at the time of completion, we'd only pay $9,000 or so. Item C, same thing, $165,000 payout. Next, if we did the lease purchase, it'd be $9,000. Item D, $200,000. Let's call that the ag building. Okay. Payout automatically out of our bond issue would be $200,000. For it complete out of a lease purchase, would pay $12,000 that first year. The second year up to 10 years. Now, mind you, you can do this 5 years, 6 years, whatever. But what I did was I discussed with the bank several different options, and they just showed me what this one particular school did, okay? And so what you're looking at is out-of-pocket interest payment of about $13,000. Item E, let's say that is, and we've had discussion about turf. Turf field would be an extra $200,000 above and beyond what the track is, compared to the $90,000 that I showed circled there for the grass, okay? Which the grass we could not lease purchase, okay? Or anything that went along with it. We're looking at $200,000, blah, 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 the same stuff. So the numbers that matter right here. When we're done in May, we have paid out $895,000 to complete it, okay? Through the conventional. Through the lease purchase payout, we only paid out $33,000. That's out of the bond issue money. Now, what's out of pocket that the burden is would be the in 10 years, $59,000. That's what it cost you to save that $800 and whatever, $95,000, or $5,900 a year. So what I'm asking you to is, let me get some more specific figures, okay? Let's look at things that we can pull out to basically save the integrity and continuity and consistency of the project. And what I mean by that, and I don't sit there and say save by meaning that we're floating under. What I mean is we want something more, and I've said this from day one, we do not want to have a track just to have a track. We do not want to have a football field just to have a football field. We do not want to have, auditorium just to have an auditorium. We want to make sure that we cover these so that when the general public looks at what we've done, that we can say without a shadow of a doubt that we went above and beyond what was called for in the bond issue, instead of we said it was there and they were sitting there going, really, this is what we expected? And so with that, we're able to pull out this, for an example, to put somewhere else, put that $200,000 somewhere else. So at this point, all I'm asking is permission to come to you to get a better line on this, so we can sit there and decide what we really want to do. And part of that will be in the bid issue. But if we sit there and decide lights, yeah, we want to lease purchase. When we put the bid out, we can ask them to put in what their lease purchase is, so we can bid that out. Meaning that if their rate's better than the bank's rate, we're going to save some money. And like I said, this was after discussion with the bank, and they showed me, the same kind of scenario, like I said, right south of here. And again, I didn't make any bones about it when we did the bond issue. Matter of fact, if you want credible evidence that I sat there and said these things, go back and look at the 10-minute bond issue thing, saying we're going to have to look at creative techniques to get what we really want, instead of just having something to have something. Any questions or discussion?
I believe you pursue it for the additional information.
I don't have a problem with checking into options. I just would say that, we don't want to end up with 20 things with a lease purchase that could put us in a bad spot. One or two things, I don't mind looking at. But
let me ask you this: do you think $5,900 a year is going to be tough on the budget?
No, but these things add up.
Well, that's 5 things. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm showing.
Right.
And I'm only showing you the stuff that can be lease purchased.
I'm okay with looking at options. I think it's a good idea to see. I just don't want to get carried away with it.
Check it all out. See what you find out.
Honestly, this really came up. Again, I sat there and knew when I was at Apache, our bonding capacity was lower than here by far. I had $2.1 million to build a new high school building, and that's a whole building, and you just don't build buildings for that. And honestly, I lease purchased the whole facility other than the concrete. And, you know, we are in 10 times better financial shape than Apache ever was. And what it's going to allow you to do, again, is there's going to be things that are outside our control that, you know, are going to pop up, and, you know, we're going to have to throw an extra $50,000, $60,000 here and there. That's what adds up.
Right.
And, you know, the thing about it is we can do this stuff in this kind of bond issue where we couldn't in a regular bond issue. So, you know, we've put ourselves in a good position right now. And like I said, what really matters, and I've said this over and over, is the integrity of the 12-year plan all stems on what happens right here. And we're setting ourselves up really good, I believe. And, you know, honestly, and I'm going on the record for this, is the minute that bond issue is complete, turnkey, is when we need to sit down or re-identify what our next goal is, start putting out information and getting our ducks in a row for the next bond issue in 3 years. The last thing I want to say is don't forget tomorrow's vote day. Go out and vote your conscience. I'm not supposed to use my position to leverage it one way or another, but I hope you've all done your research.
Okay. We're going to go to number 10, discussion and vote to approve the annual election resolution for the board election of 2015. This resolution lists the seats that are up for election and what voting precincts to close. Do you want me to read it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll
I'll tell you
you
shortly.
That's why I told her to read it.
The Board of Education of the Cherokee School District has approved the following resolution calling for an election to be submitted to the voters of the district. Date of the election. An election shall be held to elect a board member for member positions number 5 and 4 on the second Tuesday in February, that being February 10th, 2015, with a runoff election to be held on the first Tuesday in April, that being April 7th, 2015, if no candidate for the board member position receives more than 50% of the vote. The polling places shall be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Closure of precinct polling places. As provided in Title 26, Oklahoma Statute 2002 Supplement, Section 13A-101, the Board of Education authorizes the County Election Board to close the precinct polling places for precinct number 020110, located in Alfalfa County, Oklahoma, and precinct number 760005, located in Woods County, Oklahoma, for this election because only a portion of the precinct is located within the boundary of this district, and the board has determined that no one resides in that portion of the precinct. Board member position on ballot. The voters shall elect a board member for a board position, number 5, which has a 5-year term of office, and for board position number 4, which has a remaining term of 4 years in office. Qualifications of candidates for office. To be eligible to be a candidate for member of the Board of Education of a school district, a person must have resided in the district for at least 6 months preceding the first day of the filing period and have been a registered voter registered with the County Election Board at an address located within the geographical boundaries of the district for 6 months preceding the first day of the filing period. No person shall be eligible to be a candidate for or elected to be a member of the Board of Education of a school district unless the person has been awarded a high school diploma or certificate of high school equivalency. A person who has been convicted of a misdemeanor involving embezzlement or a felony under the laws of this state or of the United States, or who has entered a plea of guilty or nolo contendere to such misdemeanor involving embezzlement or felony, or who has been convicted of a crime in another state which would have been a misdemeanor involving embezzlement of a felony under the laws of this state, or has entered a plea of guilty or nolo contendere to such crime shall not be eligible to be candidate for or be elected to any state, county, municipal, judicial, or school office or any other elective office of any political subdivision of this state for a period of 15 years following completion of his sentence or during the pendency of an appeal of such conviction or plea. No person shall be eligible to be a candidate for or serve on a Board of Education if he or she is currently employed by the school district governed by the Board of Education or is related within the second degree by affinity or consanguinity to any other member of the Board of Education or to any employee of the school district. The following are relatives within the second degree: the candidate's spouse, child, parent, grandchild, grandparent, brother, sister, spouse's child, spouse's grandchild, spouse's brother, spouse's sister, spouse's grandparent, grandchild's spouse, parent's spouse, and child's spouse. Candidates must affirm that upon being elected as a member of the Board of Education within 15 months of election, they will complete at least 12 hours of instruction on education issues, including school finance, Oklahoma education law, and ethics. Duties and responsibilities of District Board of Education members. Voters eligible to vote. To be eligible to vote, a voter must have registered with the county election board at an address within the geographical boundaries of the district. Ballot title. The ballot to be submitted to the voters shall call for the voters to 1. Select one candidate for Cherokee School Board position number 5, 5-year term. 2. Select one candidate for a Cherokee School Board position number 4, 5-year term with a remainder of 4 years in office. And then legal notice is that the Board of Education of the Cherokee School District hereby will provide legal notice that the annual election filing period for candidates will open on Monday, December 1st, 2014 at 8 a.m. and will close Wednesday, December 3rd at 5 p.m. or when the Alfalfa County Election Board office closes for that business day.
So we have seat 4 and 5. 4 is who? And the reason why is there's still, when he took over, there's still over half of the term left. And then Melissa coming on. Yeah. And what time do they have to?
They have from Monday, December 1st at 8 a.m. through Wednesday, December 3rd at 5 p.m. or if the office closes prior to that. Generally, they stay open till that time frame, but confirm it. Okay. We need to discuss further or make a motion to approve or unapprove.
Just to approve the notice?
We have to do that so we can do the election process of it.
Okay.
It's just we're disapproving the annual election resolution for the board seat, our board election of 2015.
I make a motion to approve the annual election resolution for the board election of 2015.
Misty made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Misty made the motion. Jeff seconded. Judy, call a vote, please.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kimanoff,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes. Number 11, discussion and vote to accept or reject bids for an HVAC heat pump for the high school girls' locker room area.
Sent out bids and we got one back from ABC. HVAC's always been a ongoing project, and so what we're looking at this particular time is a bid for a Climate Master unit, which is going to be removal of existing package unit from the rooftop, sealing of ductwork penetration, and replacement of Climate Master geothermal system suspended in ceiling, connect to the existing duct system and existing loop system. The equipment from the Climate Master and its serial number, thermostat, and flow setter associated with the duct Included in this bid is electrical upgrades that needed to be, as well as the upgrades to hydronic piping system, making turnkey projects. The total cost is $14,238 less the rebate of $6,000 for a total of $8,238. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When we started getting these bids and quotes back 4 years ago, it was looking at $60,000 for replacement of that unit that's up on top. And the reason why it was going to be so high was we were going to have to get a crane to put it up there and then roll it across. I mean, it was pretty intensive. And what they've come up with now is basically they're going to put the unit in one of the storage places right over here that's underneath the
Bleachers?
bleachers, and then tap into the geothermal loop that's out here in the old playground that's out here. And what you can look forward to is probably about 5 to 6 weeks, and then it's going to be put in over one of the breaks.
Is that the only bid we got?
Yeah.
And we advertised it?
Yeah, we put out 2 places that I know that does that stuff, and a lot of times I either get a response back or I don't. The problem is some of the people don't want to mess with our existing geothermal.
Any further discussion?
It was 8,238.
8,238.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid.
I'll second.
Jeff made the motion to accept. Missy seconded. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Kivanaugh,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Willhite,
Yes.
Heller.
Yes.
Number 12, discussion and vote to approve a contract with Kellogg and Sovereign LLC for the preparation of the 2015-2016 technology plan and E-rate services.
Through E-rate by law, we have to have a technology plan, and it's usually the same plan every year. And it talks about several things. It talks about that we'll have a internet agreement with our kids, saying that appropriate usage. It also says that we will maintain and install a firewall, that we'll have a blocker, and then it talks about a cycle of projects and things like that. And like I said, our goal is to replace our technology in and out in 5 years like everybody else does. But like I said, it's a housekeeping measure. It's usually the same. Names change off the group that's supposed to be on there relative to who's employed here, and the dates are changed a lot of times.
Any further discussion, or do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Kellogg and Sovereign LLC.
Second.
Tony's made the motion. Corey seconded. Judy, call the vote, please.
Littlefield,
Yes.
Willhite,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Kivanaugh.
Yes.
13, discussion and vote to approve dates and times for the 2015 regular school board meetings.
We should have a calendar and a corresponding of this year, really, other than, I think, the Labor Day one, right, September.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be on
I'll
Tuesday.
pass it around in case you have it.
Everybody should have a copy of that in their file.
No, I didn't see it, but that doesn't mean anything. Did you see one in your pocket?
You can look at mine.
You could just see me. Bear with me.
Looks good to me.
It is.
And I'll just tell the new people, again, we do it this way because we have payday on the 10th, and we have to get the checks out, so the best way to do it is either,
I'll make a motion to approve the dates and times for the 2015 school board meetings.
I'll second that.
Corey made the motion to approve. Missy seconded. Judy, call the vote, please.
White,
Yes.
Littlefield?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Kimanoff?
Yes.
Heller?
Yes.
14, discussion and vote on the following new hire. Patricia Green as custodian.
This has been a long-standing vacancy. I mean, we had the vacancy a month and a half ago, and she's just been able to start today for all the shifting that we did as far as the parapro, the vacancy before that, and the custodian that she's replacing is Sarah I. And so Sarah took a parapro position. Now we have a position to offset, but we're reevaluating those positions. We've had them turn in their responsibilities, and we're trying to make things more efficient within the custodian realm too. So at this point, you have 4 custodians.
I make a motion to approve Patricia Green as custodian.
Missy made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Missy made the motion. Corey seconded. Judy, call the vote, please.
Willhite?
Abstain.
Kimanoff?
Yes.
Littlefield?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Heller?
Yes.
Okay, we've already done 15, so we'll go to 16. Discussion and vote to declare the following instruments as surplus as requested by Mr. Armbrecht, as they are beyond repair. 2 trombones, 1 baritone, 1 clarinet, 1 French horn, 1 trumpet, and several drum shells and drum parts.
I'll make a motion to declare as listed surplus.
I'll second that.
Corey made the motion. Tony seconded. Judy?
Heller?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Littlefield?
Yes.
Kimanoff?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
17, discussion and vote to approve the following fundraisers. FCCLA to have a bake sale at the November 14th football game. Dance for 7th through 12th grade winter ball November 21st. And Cherokee Chief coasters. Speech and theater, raffle tickets for a big ticket item, which has been donated, to draw the winner at the public performance of the play.
What is the big ticket?
It's
Okay.
tentatively going to be a large television.
How large? Depends on how many tickets I buy. If it's a 70, I'm all in.
The gentleman who donated it has specific rules on how they're to sell the tickets. And then if they follow his rules and raffle off the television, then he's going to make a substantial donation to the speech department.
Very good.
I'll make a motion to approve the fundraiser.
Second.
Corey made the motion to approve. Jeff seconded. Judy?
Littlefield?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Kimanoff?
Yes.
Heller?
Yes.
18, new business.
I do have something that came to light after I was able to look at the agenda that needs to be done before December 1, and I wasn't quite sure if and when we'd have a special board meeting, but I knew we were going to have one. But basically, it's called the SOO policy, and I'm just going to tell you what it is a little bit. A couple of years ago, the state of Oklahoma changed their evaluation process, called the Teacher Leadership Evaluation Process. Last year, about this time, we did what was called Other Academic Measures policy, where teachers had to discuss things that would help the principal decide how the evaluation progress would be monitored, and then basically subjected as far as, is there any growth going on in your class? And this is along the same purpose. This is establishing a baseline data for the school district to incorporate the student academic growth and other academic measures and quantitative components of the TLE. Each teacher for whom a value-added result is not available shall utilize student learning objectives or student outcome objectives that are measurable with long-term academic goals that the teacher and the teacher team sets at the beginning of the year and sets for all students. It should consist of 5 steps: development, approval, mid-course check-in, final review, attainment, scoring, and then discussion of the summative rating and impact on practice. So basically what they will do is they'll identify core content areas and standards, gather and analyze student data, which the process of this Alpha Plus that we're doing helps with that, determine the focus of these objectives, and then develop an assessment that helps target student growth with rationale. And it goes on to the process of how the evaluator should use it. But Jeremy gets to go spend a couple days in Tulsa this week for it, and ready to bring back and teach Ruth about how to do that. But like I said, by State Department of Education, we had to have something by December 1. For some reason, I didn't see that email till this weekend when it was too late. So.
Do we have any discussion on that? We need a motion now.
Yeah, need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the teacher performance evaluation procedures.
For the SLO, SOO.
Yes, for the SLO and SOO.
Tony's made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Tony made the motion. Jeff seconded. Judy, call the vote, please.
Willhite,
Yes?
Kimona,
Yes.
Littlefield,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller. Heller?
Yes.
19, vote, a motion or vote to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Tony made the motion. Corey seconded. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Willhite,
Yes.
Kimona,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Heller.
Yes.
8:42.